2 more minutes. It's kind of weird, isn't it? I'm looking at myself being on live. While you're waiting, if you're interested in after this class, I'll be running stretching class, which I regularly run at 7 o'clock in Melbourne. If you PM me after the class, I can give you the passcode for free trial today. And so you guys are more than welcome, so do PM me. And also I'll be having a vegan cheese and a burger cooking after that at 8 o'clock. So if you're interested in, just PM me. I'll have half an hour break, so I should be able to give you the link. And still got 1 more minute to go. Hi Martin, I can see you're watching. That's all I can see. Hi Mia. Hi Eric. Oz. Today I will be covering MP of SKIF. It's slightly different from JKA. The timing is slightly different, the footwork is slightly different, but the essence should be the same, so hopefully you'll enjoy. And I know it's quite early in the morning on Sunday in Europe, Eastern Europe, so I'll make sure to give you some warm up. You're welcome, Martin. Okay, let's start. It's about time. So, sit up. Mokso. Mokso yame. Otagai ni rei. Onegai shimasu. So hello again from Melbourne, Australia. We are experiencing 6 lockdown. Probably it's a world record for lockdown. So I'm still locked inside home, although Australia has a very low connected. Hopefully this connection doesn't happen during the class today. It should be okay. Okay, so as I said, today's topic is MP of SKIF, slightly different from JKA, but I'd love to share this with you. So a little bit of warm up, because MP does require lots of deep stance, and also I find I need to warm myself up, and I know it's early in the morning at some places or late at night. Warming the foot up and move the hip. MP uses a lot of deep stance, so definitely I'll go through quite a deep hip and abductor stretch beforehand. Roll the shoulders and twist. Roll. And down. And down. Scratch your head to release all the myelin pressure. Connect it to the heel. Roll the wrists. Yeah, thank you for switching in from South Africa and Europe and wherever you are. Great to see you again. And for that. And on your knee, and put the hip out, and this way that's gonna stretch all this area that we need for MP. Again, down, out, the other side. Out. Again. And back. So while we are stretching out, MP comes from, well, it says that it comes from a tomarite kata called one shoe, and also Wadoryu has one shoe, and that's very, very similar to Shotokan MP. One shoe of Okinawa, they have a Shorin-ryu, one shoe, and the Samo area calls one-su. Obviously comes from China. So it's about like 350 years of history. It's quite different from MP, but you can see a lot of this kind of agioke and a twist. There are some comparative videos that you can see in YouTube if you're interested in history or one shoe or one su. Okay, don't want to spend too much time on doing the warm up, so we're going to start doing the MP slowly, and I'll show you the SKI way. You don't have to do in SKI, but I will explain what we do. Okay, let's get this MP. Now we move the left leg. I know JK does this. And then slowly we're going to go through without really putting too much tension. Each, that's the same. And JK does move very fast. We actually go slow. Knee. Then san, zen kusudachi. Then hibadachi kagizuki. That's the same. And go lock. That's the same. But we're going to go a little bit out and in. I think JK just opens that. We go a little bit round. And then go look. Shich. Very deep. And some. This is one line almost. Not deep. But deep zen kusudachi in one line. Chi. The normal zen kusudachi. Go. Lock. Shich. Hachi. Ku. Ju. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 5, 6, 7, more space, 8, 9, 上げ突き, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, then squeeze. This is the very big difference. I think it's the same as Basadai. Our footwork is different. So we just move right leg. I think JK does left and right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Kibadachi. You might be different. We do kibadachi here. And hey! And yeah. And then one up to the left. So that's the slight difference between JKN and SKI. When I spoke to Kanazawa sensei, why things are different, like Manji for example, SKI is this and JK is the other way. He said when the association wasn't that big, a lot of variations were accepted. But when it became JKA as an association, SKF federation, they needed to standardize, to broaden. And so when he was learning it, so some people are doing this, some people are doing this. And same as a little bit of tiny, you know, some people are doing bam, and some people are doing slow. And so they made a standardization, simply that, and then because there are so many variations of bunkai, so there's no right and wrong, But that's basically the difference. Okay, so let me show you some of the tips I use for MP. So in starting with this, I bend my knee, and then make sure that the hikite doesn't come out like this, just clean coming out. And then when you go down, of course you want to keep a little bit above, falling down. In order to do that, I just use kind of fall, like I do with Jion. So falling on the spot. So here, then knee. If I were to do fast, I'll be using adductor a lot and lift of the glutes. When I'm doing slow, same deal, but I'm engaging those area slowly with the breath. Then it go pitch. I'm making sure that heel doesn't run away. Pitch. Then you're gonna go use that kind of counter action to make it very sharp. So from here, it's kind of impressive if you can do fast. And then this distance is almost the kind of shoulder width. So if I were to have the distance, this is kind of my shoulder width. And then if my hikite is good enough, it kind of gives 1, 2, 3 level, like a hand go down, and it has a very nice distance. So it's not too close. A lot of young students go like this, and it's myofascially kind of connected all the way there. So it has the strength to adapt strong. And then from here, I use again fall of the gravity to get there fast. So not slow, but release of that suddenly, so you can go very fast. Reach, again, you don't want to go away to the opponent. If I can do it, use my heel to press all my power from the core, from the heel to the opponent's jaw or agezuki against the attack. So then reach. So this or this doesn't matter, but our bunka is more reaching behind, reaching above to grab the hair or behind the neck. So we have to actually extend a bit more. If your shoulders are tensed, this gets very difficult because you're actually rolling forward. So I'm really pulling this hand as if it's like this. So this and this lengthen together. Then keeping that, any leg action, kick, any kick action, if this wobbles, everything wobbles. So I'm really focusing on the pull and really engaging my rhomboid and latissimus so I can go very cleanly. From here, and so you can go. When I was practicing, I can't remember how many years ago, I asked Naka-sensei, what is the tip to make this part impressive? He kind of said, imagine this is a rubber wall and you're going to bounce back, like you're going to go into the, like a trampoline, I suppose, trampoline wall. So make sure you really fully in, engage down, then up. If you, sometimes I see a competitor or people young who wants to make it look impressive by actually shortening the technique, you know, fully going in and going out. And here and here, try not to go the wasteful extra technique. So this, yeah, you probably know this if you have been watching all my videos. New floor mat! It's easier for the MP and sheet. In order to do this as well, so MP, this is in one line, a little bit more than 2 shoulder width. So this is more zenkusachi. But this is my zenkusachi. MP gedan is like that. And then you go to the normal zenkusachi stance. The way I do it to make it look and easier for me is actually I really engage my back glutes. So I avoid this kind of technique or walking with this. If I walk with it, this will happen. At the same time, it's a lot of work on the quads. If I use my back glutes and then really use the whip of the hip, is quite sharp and I will never lose my balance. So here and come. Then when I come up, this is my favorite part. When I come back up, well, just think that I've done already twice. Bending my knee and coming up. So from here, bend the back knee first. So it's very smooth and keeping the distance between hand and the knee about the same distance from here. So almost no difference in here, hiding what I'm gonna do kind of thing. And it's really nice to have the same distance all the way. And then start dropping with the toe and then open. Another tip, what I think about MP is it's very easy to, so zenkusachi is like this, yeah? So my ankle is like this and here. And if I'm not fixing it, I will end up being shikodachi. So here, coming up, that's the time I actually change. And then think of a toe, but land on the heel. So I kind of finish it like that. So it's a beautiful kibadachi to finish it off. And so this, how to balance it. So a lot of mistake is to go like that to make the clear snap. But if you go like this, it's very easy to lose balance. So go through, this is my center right now. Ending center is there. So I try to think about the shortest distance from beginning to the ending. So I go back, in, and lock. So avoid this, back, this. And a hand as well. This is starting, this is the ending work. So here, yeah! Then keep the balance. Opposite hand, out. Again, toe first, heel out. So you avoid going that way. Here, inhale, and exhale. These ones are very, very easy to detect from anybody watching from the front. So, and it's very paused moment. So here, kibadachi is not good. It's very strongly visible. So here, then double punch. Can do, or that's a personal choice, but making sure the boss is full length. Then from here, so kibadachi to zenkusachi. I pivot on the heel, so I don't go back. I will go here. But if I just think about heel, you stand up a bit. So I let go of whatever the kime I had. Two, and I let go. So I kind of whip. And then I make sure I lock it, tsukeranbarai, so it's kind of, all the glutes medius clenches the buttocks together in the center line, so you have a beautiful hammy. When I'm thinking about oizuki or gyakuzuki, I think about glute max of the back buttocks. But if I'm doing geranbarai, I will think about squeezing of both butt cheek Or if I actually think about more of the front buttocks, then it will automatically work both. So here, bang, bang, against the key. Then you're gonna go to coxswain. I emphasize a lot on the preparation because if you prepare, you can really pull. You will avoid rotation, but you really make the clean movement. So from here, reach out, and then reach out. And this is my personal tip, because coxswain is turning out of the front hip. So right now, if you're not familiar with my explanation, right now my hip is facing neutral. Then when I turn this one out, this is staying neutral, this is turned out. A lot of the times if you hurry up with the coxswain, you end up with something like this or something like this. So most of the time we're going a bit like that. So hip is not quite turned out in the front leg, but you really turned out in the back leg. And so your weight is in the middle. In order to make the coxswain really back weighted, this is neutral, this is open. I really tell myself, turn the hip out, turn the knee out or hip out. Whichever the keyword works for you, I'll definitely work on a coxswain. It seemed to work on my students very well as well. When I see the coxswain, turn the knee out of the front, knee out. When I see the kibadachi, heel out before you land. Anyhow, so bump, bump, knee out. Sorry, knee and some. That's why mirror image, yeah. So I'll show you from the each knee out, knee out, then knee out. That's how I tell myself, so that it definitely helps me, because this sequence very easy to go up, sorry, go up, down, up, up, or I see a lot of competitors do so they're just kind of doing this kind of footwork rather than clean line. It's looking okay from front view, but if I have a viewer from here, it just looks like a person walking on a slipper. So let's do it again from here. And again, rotating on heel. And deep stance, opening up with the glute, and then another thing we often get told of is doing that. Same as Unsu. A lot of competitors do this kind of big action to make it look or feel good to you. So that from here, when you actually think about a squeeze, okay, if I go like this, I'm actually opening my vulnerable part to the opponent. So from here, direct. My knees, my uniform is baggy, so it looks like my knees bent, but it's absolutely straight. And this is really fun. And then go inhale. So I think JK was 1 and 2 for us. 2, 2. Okay. And knee. Some people do this. Some people just do straight. We definitely use wrist to make it nice, as well as also bunkai wise, if you want to think about joint lock and then putting that away you'll definitely use your wrist. So rather than kind of mechanical, oh, this can be another bunkai though, just like hitting hard. So I'm not saying it's wrong, but we tend to do in Zen stretch. So from here, finish together, finish together. Then from here, cork stretch, so turn this one out, and then kibadachi. Don't have enough space here. My house is not that big. So cork stretch, 2, so just really turn up, 2, kibadachi, so heel up. I think that's the hardest bit of MP is a lot of kokusdachi to kibadachi. We often have a lot of kokusdachi to zenkudachi a lot, or kibadachi, zenkudachi to kibadachi, but kokusdachi to kibadachi is less. So this is the bit that if you're not careful, you end up being kokusdachi like this, and you end up like the shikodachi. Yeah, it depends on, I think some other styles they may do fudodachi here, but us, kokusdachi and fun. Then this one, it's very much like basadai line, same, not this kibadachi and reaching out, so you can safely, if you go like this, the jump will be so hard. So, and this one is just one fist, so really have the strong, either the bunkai or hitting or pulling, either way it's very solid into this part of your body. So from here, then go. With the MP, we jump, we kiai as we jump. So we have 3 different kiais. So for example, this, yeah, that's penetrating, really breaking something. That is kind of kiai to really put the effort, voice, and gravity and the velocity. And this is kind of kiai, same as kankudai's. It's not as you land, but as you jump, you kind of encourage yourself, same as Heian Goran, to go up high. So in order to keep the gravity or body weight light as possible to your calves or entire body, I kiai high pitch, because when you kind of up high, your breath is a bit higher, so center of gravity gets up kind of thing. It's great for, like, you know, when you're doing sojin train, that's really anchored to the lower tandem, seika tandem. This one is a little bit up higher, otherwise your jump will be heavy and landing will be awful for your feet. So it's different from the first kiai. Second kiai is higher, lighter, and sharper pitched. And make sure it's turned out. Another thing I find it, if I'm not careful, I land like this after the jump. So I have to think of really bringing the feet into the growing, and then I can land like that. If I didn't jump enough, the will happen. So that's also another reason why I use my kiai to go up to finish off. And I actually stop my breath when I do the landing. Then you finish. So from here to, you want to make it sharp rather than walk slow. Well, that's what I like. From here to go back, instead of using my leg that's moving, I use this to pull. So foot is like this, but if I use my I use my adductor and lower abdomen and buttocks, it closes. I can go back. If I try to use this kind of action, which is predominantly I'm using my right leg to move, it has a bit of stop in the middle, plus my leg this part has to work so hard. So I use relaxation of this side, I use activation of this side, then just finish with that as I land, and then turn this one out at the end. Then when I finish, I bring this hand a little bit. So of course, this is my aesthetic choice. You can just go back to there, but I like to put your hands straight, finish together with coming back, and make sure it doesn't come out like this, but because Shutok is already here, so elbow comes in and this comes out like this. Then it's kind of beautiful. Line, if I show you from this line, I'm gonna finish with that. Then, well, for us, to the left. And bring the heels together. I think that is, those are the small tips that I make it quite interesting to make the MP. Have a bit of a drink and then we'll make it a little bit fast. Alright, so before we go through the whole kata, the bits I will practice when I'm doing MP. Well, MP is the flying sparrow, so it's not pigeon or seagull that have a big wing, but it's very long and linear, and it doesn't really go, it just flies out and you know. So I have that kind of image, so making the arm long, not stocky around here, just dropping that, and so my arm can go as far out as possible, far back as possible to get to there without going that's too much rock kind of movement. I like the MP to be as agile, as elastic as possible. So what I normally practice if I'm doing the MP, I'll just start practicing the hand like this. And the less sound of the breath, but still breathing. If you're watching Olympic, what I didn't like about Olympic kata is that a lot of people are just breathing was just way audible in every single movement and tight. Whatever the kata they do, the breath was tight, and that made me stressed out listening to it. Because then you can, the opponent can hear, and if you look at the kumite people, you can't hear the breathing, but they're definitely breathing because otherwise they can't move that fast. So if their breathing pattern is so different, what's the art? What are we doing? It should be this, you know, karate we're aiming for. So especially MP, I feel like shouldn't be that kind of breath. Yeah, because such a small bird. Yeah. Okay, so I just go. That's the exercise. 1、2、3、4。ゲラン上げ突き。Then the other hand. When I look at the mirror, I make sure that agezuki doesn't come out like this. Not this either, because then my neck gets shorter. So 1, 2, 2, 2. kagezuki you do, it's a little bit of body proportion, I think. Make sure that after you do this shoulder is absolutely relaxed. You only use the hikite with this muscle, not with this, but this. Because if you bring the shoulder blades close, your hikite becomes very, very far back. But if you actually try to pull the hand back, although it's called hikite, it's more hikihiji, which is the elbow back. Because this, it just makes you look like a chicken, plus neck gets shorter. So, another thing I use, instead of the arm, is this. And loose. Close. No tension. Then I start using my knee because it's going to be in a deep stance of Zenkusechi. So I start using a tiny bit of pelvic floor movement. Okay, that's enough part of that. And another thing is the geranbarai kagizuki. Geranbarai kagizuki. So this is going to be useful for heian godan as well. So geranbarai kagizuki. I don't really put an effort in this hand. When you put an effort in kagizuki, you have no control of it. Shoulder girdle is that's not very accurate, but I put an effort in this one. So as I said, this is about shoulder width, shoulder width, shoulder width. If you think about being pulled by hikite, your kagizuki is in mizunagare, so water falling down in the same kind of really in a good position you end up with. So I put an effort of pulling straight back rather than round back, then you have also again no control. So this. So my camera is a little bit above, so it looks a bit weird. It looks like I'm a bit like this, I suppose, but so what notice I'm not doing that, but I'm actually letting go of this tension to pull it back. Letting go of this tension to pull it back. Another thing you may notice is that to try to stop it, I'm finishing with this. So if I go, I'm using this one, I'm using this one. That's my way of finishing it cleanly. No matter what stance it is, if I can engage this Zenkusechi Okiba-dachi or Fudo-dachi, it really will finish it if you can engage the glutes. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Okay, so deep and deep. Again, I don't put an effort in this one, I put effort in this one. So bang, and then I will put an effort in this one. Okay, so it's gonna go to Zenkusechi, but I'll do it in the Shizentai. Bang, bang. Avoid this. Go as low as possible. Depending on the structure, you may not be able to touch because your bicep is thick. That's absolutely fine. Just loosen up so it goes naturally. Then, when you just about to move, I don't tense. Then, basically I make fist and loosen up. Here, go in, then you see the tension and release. The longer you tense up, slower the next movement becomes. So Then I start moving my foot a bit more to get the hip action happening. And then making sure when I go this way, I turn on this heel. Then I'll go this side, I'll go on this heel. So you start practicing rotation on the heel. Hiya! Okay. Then after that, I practice this part. That's another point that we often lose balance. I often tell my students, if your upper torso is solid, then leg movements become very balanced. But if your upper torso gets loosened, your spine goes wobbly, and then you won't be able to control whatever you're doing underneath. That's also another reason why I just practice my hand movements. So here, not this because that goes outside. It is from here, kind of having a target there, and then into bang. And from here, I do always practice the opposite side as well. So body is balanced. Slice. Friction up. Because I'm right-handed, this is stronger. So in order to make it strong, I just kind of activate this part strong. So don't worry about the hands, because a lot of people end up like this, but with this, then you have that kind of beautiful shape rather than this, or slide in and finish. Could be different in your, it could be just this for your association, but that's, please obey your association. Okay, then hand goes here, straight line to prepare this. For Shotokan, preparation hand is always opposite, so it doesn't go like this. Because you does that, we always go opposite, so you have the twist. You have the twist again. Here, boom. And then you start practicing. Be higher and land. So this landing is very, I noticed that a lot of people finish and the hand comes out. So it's not quite together. The beauty of Shotokan kata is that you finish techniques together. That kind of, I can't because you do that well, but you know, they land together, and then because it's a short distance fighting, also mainly we emphasizing the finish together. So I practice so if it's too early, then just hold it together. Where you going to, how you gonna turn, how fast you gonna turn, and then how slow down you are. So kankyu's kan, with even within a kan, there should be kankyu. So you can do fast and then slow, or slow entirely, or slow and a little bit of, that's really personal choice and depends on how balanced you are. you may want to change that. So that you have to discover your own body, how proportioned you are, how difficult you are to do this slowly. If you have to do it quite fast, then you have to move this hand quite fast to meet the ending together. That's the main focus. And the rest is repeated, and then this. Okay, my throat is getting a bit dry, so okay, excuse me. So here, the focus is this part. So how much power can you give? This is not going to be strong, and if I got like this with the shoulder up high, the way this goes to the hip, so body weight goes there. If I were to exaggerate, that's too much exaggeration, but I'm opening mouth, close and open, so you can see. But of course, I don't want you to do like that. But that's just. And how much you're gonna move your wrist? Again, that's your personal choice. Some people just do this. For me, that doesn't look like, again, sparrow. The bird has so much finesse in the flying. It's not like an eagle. It's just got a lot of whip. So I would like to use. Sorry, I disappeared for a second because I think because Australia is locked down everywhere, online is a little bit unreliable. Hopefully you're still there. Anyhow, so this bit. Then from here, this hand, 1, 2. I think that's the hardest bit for some people. From here, keeping the same line and going there. Bang, and bang, bang, bang. So don't do this. And then also don't do this to get there. Clean line, so it's now I'm in the center of my side, then I go there, bang, bang. So it's gonna be kokutsudachi is also bodies like that, and kibarachi. So from here to here, not here, bang, bang. And then so here, bang, da, da. And again I find it this there from kokutsudachi to kibarachi, very difficult. So I'll practice without going solo, but here to here, here to hip, here to heel. And then when I think about heel out, then my glutes, particularly this glutes, has to work hard so it doesn't go that way. So here from this to this. To this, to this, this. And then start going to proper kokutsudachi. Then really activate this. Really disactivate the deltoid. And here, deactivate, activate, activate. If you activate here, you end up like this. And it's going to be so hard to jump from here to here. Then when I jump, I go this way. So my leg will go up higher, they go up higher, then just practice reaching. So when you're jumping, this comes naturally. A lot of people, when you jump, start going this way because you're worried about legs, and the hand goes like that and then become very short. So I just practice the other hand. That I repeat that number of times so it will come up. Then when you actually jump from here, you can go as the longer you do, the sharper your kime becomes. So just practice that while you're not jumping so high with both legs in on the spot. Then make your kata really nice and crisp. I hope this is really working. I'm just gonna check that. Okay, I think I'm not hearing from Martin, so I'm crossing my finger this is working still. Just gonna check that. Hopefully restart worked. Anyhow, because I'm not here seeing any messages, so I'm just a little bit worried, but I'll continue on anyhow. All right, so let's do full speed. A bit. Oh, before I forget, also another thing, I pay particular attention to how to announce the kata. So if I'm saying sojin, it's a very grounded kata because it's a ground gravity is the kata. So sojin, it's very, very, very lower seikatanden oriented voice because that's gonna decide the movement. MP is flying and flying. So MP, it's too heavy for me anyway. So I'll say MP or MP. It's quite high pitched and light instead of MP. So I would say like something like a basai dai. It goes quite grounded because that first movement is that. But MP is still from here light down, not instead of. So if you're gonna do MP, I'll go bam, and so it becomes not spiral like. So for me, I will say MP or MP. One of these. Yeah. So sorry, I forgot to say that. MP. Okay, that's the rhythm I use. Not everybody in SKI use this rhythm either. Some people do 1, 2, 3, and I kind of hold 1, 2, and this. There's no written rule for where you pause. Apart from double punch, you always do like you don't go 1 and 2. It's more 1, 2 kind of thing in the after the slower. But you can also give a little bit of kime rather than, that's also up to you. And yeah, so that kind of speed you will decide. And this one, you're smashing it. I kind of did a little bit too light for my liking. And so from here, and I leave the echo a little bit long because I like to make this part quite long. If I figured it out that I was about to lose balance there, so that you don't show. That is also another way of disguising yeah, your performance. But what I like it usually, I didn't do very well there, but I would like to hold it, smash, then really like use the body language, facial expression there, then go. And yeah, not enough space to enjoy that momentum. But careful with that momentum because this will start happening instead of holding it there. So really work on the front knee open with your inner thigh and the glutes. Another thing I really emphasize on the MP is that because I take it differently if I'm using kind of bouncy floor to the hard floor. If I'm using bouncy floor, then this is, well, you have to really, you know, sometimes you might be wearing leather shoes, you might be wearing a rubber, really soft shoes, your body usage will change. Same as that. So if I'm using this kind of floor, then I won't land so heavy because there's no bounce back. Also, it's going to be not very helpful for the joint. So if I have a wood, with the dojo, with the wooden floor, I don't want to use too much of that to push it because there's no bounce of the floor. So more kind of faithful to traditional sense, I suppose. More sulish. You lift up, but this leg is more sulish. Whereas when I have this kind of floor, if I do all the time sulish, your foot may get caught with the gap, but also you're not utilizing the floor because that's the movement of the bird. So you want to kind of portray that in your body. So if you can use it, then use it. If you can't use it, like when there's no floor, then use the smoothness of the floor to do it. And here, this, with a wooden floor, I might not go with the toe. I will go on the ball of the foot. More ball of the foot. Then it's very quiet and it's beautifully landing. And then also the way I balance it with hard floor to rubbly floor are different because when the floor is so this, I'm just a second. I am on live straight away. Still on live. Yeah, 14 people watching, so I know 14 people kept the connection, but I don't know about the rest of the world. So sorry if you missed out some of the thing. But anyway, so if you have the rubbery, you may not, this kind of thing gets harder, or if it's slippery, this is too super easy. So you might lose the balance very easily. If it's a really slippery floor, I really ground myself here, and then make sure that I start with the toe to land. If it is hard floor, then I kind of keep the surface tension light. So make sure this is activated but not so grounded with the other foot, and ball of the foot here. So then go, aye! See, this one makes kind of noise, but if I go on the ball of the foot, it doesn't make noise. Whereas if I go like that on the softer mat, if I go on the ball of the foot, it may actually bounce you back. So I land on the toe. Then I land. Heel is always the same. From here, bam, bam, still on the heel. So I'm not sure. I've been on this line, on this for half an hour. I hope you didn't miss the last half an hour after the network disappeared. But it's time now, so I'll be stopping soon. If there's any question, please type it in. If the last half an hour is completely gone, then I will repeat the class again. Anyhow, with the MP, because you use a lot of length like this, so I will stretch out this kind of, so here, each, and then open, knee, then open, sun, then open, shi, then open, go, then open, and knee down, the other leg, each come forward, really this way, so it's really this line rather than this, and you really stretch your adductor and a hip, then open, knee, then open, san, then open, shi, then open, go, and then knee down, and this way, and then lean back, push the hip out. You can see some messages. No, I can only see the people just watching. I can't see the messages. Hip. And chest down. Grab the knee, hunchback. Okay, time now. Sit up. Box up.木星夢お互いに礼おすありがとうございました Lovely to see you again, or thanks for having me again. As I said, I have in half an hour on the Sunday, every 7 o'clock, I run high kick stretching class. So if you want to join, PM me, then I can give you a link for trial. And yeah, we're still in a very, very long lockdown. I have no idea where we can get out, and I hope wherever you are feeling safe, and you are in a safe zone, and you know, keeping yourself healthy and fit, and you know, karate motivated. I sometimes get exhausted of this lockdown. I've had enough, and sometimes demotivated, but having this kind of opportunity uplifts me. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you in Europe or in Japan or in Australia. Stay safe, and I'm so sorry about the halfway through the network, but it happens a lot in Australia now because we are all locked down. Okay, bye. Os.